One of the ways you can make your single note soloing more interesting is to do something you can think of as chord melody soloing. This is really more of a jazz term than a blues term, but if you think of it as creating melodies out of chord shapes and creating harmonized melodies, then it's as good a term as any. The example I just played features this chord that I learned when I was studying with Emily Remler, and we called it the Ed Bickert chord, or I did after she showed it to me, because she was like, oh, do you know those cool chords that Ed Bickert plays? And I was like, no, but I love how they sound, show me. And so she showed me this voicing and a few others. And so I'm just gonna show you how to use that chord to create a little chord melody riff that works over the first 4 bars of the blues in B flat. All right, first, here's what it sounds like if you slow it down a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this main chord is a B flat 13 chord. And from the bottom we have the flat 7 and the 3rd and the 13 and the root. This is actually a version on the middle 4 strings of this chord, which you may be more familiar with. Again, here's the 7, the 3rd, the 13, and the root. But here we're gonna play it up in this position, and that's our opening 1 chord. And that lets us go down to this shape, the T-Bone Walker chord shape, with the 3rd, 7, 9, and 5th for the 4 chord. And then we can go to a diminished chord, which is going to take us, we're just dropping this 1 note here. So now it's functioning like a common tone diminished chord. This B flat is held in common, taking us back to B flat 13. Then we're going to half step up and put the 9th on top. So now we've gone from B flat, half step up to a B 13 chord. And now we're taking the root of B, moving it up a whole step to make it a 9th chord. And then sliding that back down to B flat 13 with a 9. And then we're gonna flat the 13, making it a B flat altered. So that's this note, this note, this note, and this note. So we have the flat 7, the 3rd, the flat 9, and the natural 13. And then that's going to resolve ultimately in bar 5 to the E flat 9. So what's going on is we're starting off on the 1, we're going to the 4. This is functioning as the sharp 4 diminished. It's like when you're on E flat down here, and then you raise this note to get E diminished, and that takes you back to 1 down in this position. So 1, 4, sharp 4 diminished, 1, and then up by a half step, which is like a tritone substitution for the 5 chord, and then back to 1, and then altering 1, because altered 1 will take you, it's a stronger resolution that takes you over the 4 chord. So here are your first 4 bars of the blues. Starting out with common tones on top is a really good way to start learning new voicings, because you can get a lot of mileage just out of doing rhythmic things with a few simple chords. So instead of just sitting here like, you can start to make more of a melodic statement just by doing things rhythmically. And that means as you're playing single note stuff, you can then go to this kind of riff style, and it creates a whole new level of energy without really going very far on the fingerboard, which can be really effective. In my upcoming chord melody workshop on June 29th, I'll be teaching a lot more ideas like this and taking them through entire 12-bar choruses of the blues. So not only will you learn new voicings, new rhythms, and new ways to connect them to each other, but you'll also see exactly how they work in context, so you can immediately take them and start to apply them to your own playing, measure by measure, line by line, and chorus by chorus. To learn more about the workshop and to sign up, just go to the link below or the link on screen. And if you've got a question or a comment about today's lesson, leave it for me down below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.